Hi, so school has started in most of the country by now, and I'm wondering if your student has come home and said, "Oh, I can't stand my teacher, I have to transfer out of that class." Now that usually happens in high school or possibly middle school, where it is possible to actually change a class. In elementary school, pretty much the teacher you're assigned is the teacher you're stuck with for the year. Now, I run a tutoring service and I visit students in their home in order to place them with the correct tutor that helps them not only academically but also from a learning style and personality standpoint. And this past week has been amazing as far as how many kids have said to me, "Well, the problem with my class and the reason I need a tutor is because my teacher sucks." Now, I have kind of a problem with that because as one moves through life, as I know as an adult, we can't always choose who our teacher or who our boss or who our supervisor is going to be. So learning how to manage one's teacher is a very important thing, a very important skill for a student to learn how to do. And when I run into a parent of the same student who says, "Yeah, the problem is the teacher, my kid's a great student, but we're going to be transferring him or her out of that class, and then I'm sure he'll do better," I really get a little perturbed because I truly believe that a young adult needs to be able to manage the person above them. Because having been in school myself and in the corporate world for many years before I became an entrepreneur, there were many times when I had not only college professors, teachers, and bosses that I didn't really care for, but I wasn't able to just leave the situation because it just wasn't possible. And what I like to tell my parents and my students is that it is definitely a challenge for a young adult to learn how to manage their teacher in school. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity for them to be exposed to people that they might not pick or choose to deal with, but because those people are in a position of power, if you will, that it will really build character for them if they do learn how to cope with people above them in the hierarchy of life or a job or school or college, so they can get along, because the world is not perfect, and when our kids graduate and go out in the real world, they are going to run across people that are going to challenge them. And if we teach them now at a relatively young age how to work around some of the personality quirks that a teacher might have, it's going to really make them a strong person. So I rarely recommend, when I'm out seeing a student and a family, to go ahead and change the teacher. Absolutely, that will solve all your problems. What I do recommend is that they really think of how this teacher wants the students to act in the class, what their teaching style is, and to really try to adapt their learning style to the teacher's teaching style. Now, there is an exception if one has a special needs child who has specific learning disabilities and specific ways that they need to learn. That would be a case where I might intervene as a parent and say, for example, my child has auditory processing disorder. They really need to see things visually. They need things broken down step by step. And if the teacher is not capable or is not willing to do that, then I would probably intervene. But on a regular basis, for a student in school, I highly recommend that your children are encouraged to hang in there, learn how to manage their teacher, because down the road it's going to come back full circle to them, and they're going to look back and say, "Whoa, I'm so glad I hung with Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so in my math class, because that's helping me deal with Mr. or Mrs. Boss right now that I'm having a little bit of a hard time with, but I learned some skills as to how to do that, and I'm going to stick with it and stick it out and become just a person that has a lot of character." Thanks for listening.